This is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. Today I'm coming to you to talk to you about a rant covering the indoctrination of our kids and why the government is moving to institute the indoctrination at earlier stages in their life so that they can mold their minds to be the perfect sheep. And we're seeing this with an article that came out basically covering how Philadelphia's mayor, Jim Kenney, has made it so that pre-K is one of their policy priorities. You see, what's happening here is the children as young as 3 years old can now begin these government indoctrination programs where they go out and mold your minds in the city of Philadelphia. And it may be coming to a neighborhood soon where you're at. And you heard me right, folks, when I said 3 years old. 3 years old, to truly get a hold of them, shape and mold our kids into what the state views they should be thinking, getting them thinking along the government state of mind and starting at a much earlier age. Outside of the 5 they just started not too many years ago. And not surprisingly, that's what they're exactly suggesting they want to do with these kids. They want to go out there and mold their minds so that they follow and adhere to the government. They become dependent upon the government. Think about it. There's a new research out there that was co-authored by Nobel Prize economist James Heckman, and this guy suggested that 8 weeks old is about the right age to get your kids out of the house and get them into schools, into these potholes, these pods where the government can go out there and start to educate them. 8 weeks. 8 weeks, you know, if 4 years old isn't young enough, 5 years old isn't young enough, we need to get them at 8 weeks so they can start pre-K, so that that'll do the trick. This Heckman guy sits out there and he blames the fact that these kids aren't being, what's happening is their effective language development, their development of their mind, if you wait until they're 4 or 5, it's too late. And you need to get them when they're at 8 weeks. So that they can grow and nurture and be these intelligent kids in schools. I got to tell you, it seems like people were a lot smarter back in the 50s, 60s and stuff, and we weren't doing any of this crap back then. Why don't we just get back to basics? Bring the education back to the state level. Get rid of the Department of Education. Get rid of Common Core. And there's this whole push towards the indoctrination of our kids, our infants. It's a strategy that many people predicted, because the ultimate goal here is government education to mold their minds so that they can get out there and advance their philosophy, that the state has to get out there and produce these global citizens who fully embrace the humanist ideology that's out there, regardless of what the truth is around the teachings. And, you know, those are out there people, they scream that, oh, maybe you're just an alarmist. They claim that people's heads are stuck in the ground. You don't know what's going on. But think about it. Just consider this move. This move is social emotional learning. SEL, they call it. All right? It's already in use in several districts out there, several school districts across the country. SEL. And, you know, as if the Common Core wasn't bad enough, and hopefully this new education person will do something about that. But this SEL measures the kids from kindergarten. And they're little tiny little kids running around school through high school on non-cognitive factors, from everything like self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, how they deal with relationships, how they deal with decision-making, and all that stuff. Isn't that lovely? Our government wants to psychoanalyze our kids from 2 weeks on until they get out of school and even on beyond that. They want to store it into their database. They want to know how they can control and manipulate them. I mean, think about it. What could go wrong with this stuff? Nothing. And beyond tracking their mindsets, SEL gives the government greater ability to shape and mold our kids on issues, ranging from everything from climate control to gender and sexuality. And it's interesting that this one SEL major financial backer, Noble Foundation, in this article, they wrote about their mission includes to changing social attitudes, relationships and institutions that perpetuate injustice, is what they said. So Novo launched a 5-year initiative with this Arcus Foundation to improve the lives of the transgender people. And this is the same type of philosophical approach they're going to take with our younger youth. pushing the whole transgenderism, pushing all these different issues that you may or may not agree with. And Novo hopes that SEL will play a significant role in shifting our culture, that social change, that systematic inequality, and violence towards the new ethos. They want SEL to change the cultural views of our youth. It's hardly a stretch to realize that this includes that LGBT agenda, especially if they're out there pushing that and the transgender and everything else. And where are the parents in all this? They're not there. They're not interfering. The government has it their ways. A lot of these people, a lot of these progressives view your children as a community child and not really your child. And, you know, a lot of parents go to school, they think, oh, a lot of these things that they're pushing SEL and everything is for academics. But you're wrong. It's not. SEL goes beyond that. Lenin wasn't kidding when he said this, according to an article. You give me 4 years to teach your children, and the seed I have sown in them will never be uprooted. And this is 100% accurate. You get these kids at 8 weeks, 4 years old, 5 years old, and you start pushing them through that indoctrination, that progressive social indoctrination, and you end up with a lot of the kids that we see today. A lot of these little whiners that want their safe spaces, those little snowflakes, that's the type of kids we're ending up with today. And these kids were basically getting indoctrinated at 6, 7 years old. Now they're 4 and 5. Just think of how much worse it's going to progressively get, especially if you go to 2 weeks. And that's what these want. These progressives want your kid from day one to plant that seed in there. And too many parents are saying fine and hand them over. I personally want to homeschool my youngest daughter. She refuses to, and I've been fighting with her because I don't like the prison regime, indoctrination, government programs that I see at the public schools. It's crazy. What say you? This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.